You had Sherlock Holmes's intellect, but at the same time, you also inherited Sherlock's pitiful 20 points of emotional intelligence. One sentence from you could leave someone speechless. You made perfect sense, yet no one could argue back. So, in everyone's eyes, you became a straight student with no social skills. All you knew was how to study, and nothing you said was ever pleasant. Worse, the system kept forcing you to learn, constantly building up your foundational knowledge to unlock more of its technologies. Still, the benefits of your high intelligence were obvious. In your second year of high school, you won first prizes in national math, physics, and chemistry competitions. The day the results came out, admissions officers from 7 elite universities came to your door. Student Luo, choose our university. We'll offer you a 790,000 yuan scholarship. A teacher from Yanda University made the first offer. The teacher from Jianda University was not about to fall behind. Student Luo, come to our university. Your parents' jobs and your sister's education. We can take care of all of it. For a moment, the recruiters all pulled out every trick they had. The room became as noisy as a market. Yet you ignored them all and kept reading the algebraic topology book in your hands. Only after finishing the last page were you about to speak when the system spoke. Congratulations, host. You have completed the algebraic topology task. Reward: a complete suite of EDA software technologies. Electronic design automation software technology. This was design software known as the mother of chips. No usable domestic version had been developed yet. At that thought, an idea came to you. I like being around smart people. I'll give you a question. Whoever solves it is the university I'll choose. Everyone was stunned. Did you have to be so blunt? The teachers' faces immediately darkened. They were always the ones interviewing students. How could a student test them instead? Professor Zhu from Yanda University was displeased, but he still smiled. Student Luo, if you have any questions about our university, just ask us directly. Little did he know, that only seemed even more foolish to you. You gave Professor Zhu a baffled look. Who would be stupid enough to say their own university was bad, since every teacher says their university is the best fit for me? Then, under equal conditions, isn't testing your ability with a question the most practical approach? I'm sure when you select students, you also have them answer questions to test their actual ability. Why is it unacceptable when I do it? At your words, the teachers looked at one another. Then Professor Yang from Donda University spoke first. If we cannot solve it, can we ask faculty from our university for help? Of course, there's nothing wrong with the teacher admitting he's an idiot. The question I gave was intended for university professors anyway. I've heard some university professors are merely dead weight. So before choosing a university, I need to know the university's true strength. Your words left them no grounds for argument. Besides, these admissions officers had assignments to fulfill. The moment they arrived at your home, it was decided that they would do everything possible to recruit you. Since they were already here, they might as well see what question you could produce. Fine. Go ahead. Professor Zhu looked around at the other recruiters and spoke with absolute confidence. His undergraduate major had been mathematics, and he had studied physics in graduate school. He was sure none of the others could match him. He took out paper and a pen, then began writing quickly. Once you had written the question, every recruiter's face fell. Even with their usual composure, they could not stop themselves from swearing. It was algebraic topology. Professor Zhu sucked in a breath, then fell silent. In an instant, he remembered his undergraduate years and the terror of being ruled by math problems. The teachers quickly took out their phones and photographed it, calling for outside help. That day, a strange phenomenon swept through those elite universities. Students across the universities suddenly found their classes abandoned by their professors. Before long, Professor Ian came in with his phone, hurrying through the door. As he walked, he said into the phone, Professor Jia, I've put you on speaker. You tell him. Student Luo, your question. First, let me give the answer. It is compact in the LQT topology. Then she began explaining the solution. After hearing Professor Xia's explanation, a faint smile finally appeared on your face. Algebraic topology involves abstract algebraic structures and topological spaces. Solving it requires a leap from concrete problems to abstract concepts. To solve algebraic topology problems, you also need foundations in linear algebra, real analysis, and set theory. Just to understand the question, this was why you chose algebraic topology as the test question. It revealed a person's overall ability in mathematics. You continued questioning Professor Jia. What is your research field? Intelligent computing architecture and system chips, application-specific integrated circuit design, and integrated circuit reliability. Professor Jia showed no impatience at your questions, which earned your approval. Professor Jia was the first to solve the problem you posed, proving she was smart enough. She showed no impatience with your questions, so she seemed very patient. Professor Xia's research also suited your interest. More importantly, if you studied under her, then revealing the system's reward would be far more acceptable to others than it was now. After weighing the pros and cons, you knew what to do next. Alright, As we agreed, Donley Institute of Technology will be my first choice. But I have two questions I want clarified first. To get the chance to work with Qing, you were finally willing to say a little more. Ian clenched his jaw. He was both delighted and troubled. He was delighted because he had secured an exceptionally gifted genius for his university. What troubled him was that this genius was unlike other students. Most felt awe before teachers, but this genius seemed to lack that feeling entirely. Hearing you, Professor Ian quickly said, Student Woe, what is your question? After I enroll, my parents and sister will still be in this small town, far away from me. When can I return home each year to visit them? Professor Ian was about to answer. During summer and winter breaks, when he noticed Professor Wu from Jada University, wearing a confident, triumphant expression. Something was wrong. Why was that man looking so certain of victory? Professor Ian rapidly replayed Professor Wu's every move in his mind. Professor Wu had arrived at the Luo home at about the same time as him. After entering the Luo home, Professor Wu had spoken with you about everything his university could offer. Among those offers, he seemed to have mentioned arrangements for your parents and sister. Once Professor Ian remembered this, he instantly understood. So that's what you meant by asking me that. Professor Ian secretly broke out in a cold sweat. That was close, he thought. You had deliberately asked before everyone. So, you could compare again. Which university offered better terms? If his offer did not match the other recruiter's terms, you would surely turn your attention to another university. For example, in the test just now, Yana University and Qing University had only been one step behind them. No. Professor Ian quickly rejected that thought. He suddenly understood. You were not trying to gather information. Your main purpose was to make Ian present a concrete offer. Given your intelligence, you had probably already collected the benefits and offers from every university. Now you wanted to discuss the details with Ian. Only then did Professor Ian realize you had not been beating around the bush at all. He had simply overthought it. You had never considered the other universities as options. Your questions now were merely giving Ian a chance to match the benefits offered by the other schools. After all, offering less was out of the question. Even 800 tricks would not be enough to outwit you. Your intelligence could crush anything. Professor Ian realized you had held the initiative from start to finish. No matter how these recruiters raved about their benefits or tried to curry favor with you, you had never stated your position. You knew exactly what you wanted. He believed that if he failed to understand you, you would not say another word to him. Professor Wu, standing in the corner, could not help whispering to the person beside him. This kid is truly a prodigy. In just one short sentence, he had gathered information, compared his options, and seized the initiative. Using 3 strategies: gathering information, comparing offers to seize control, and deliberate guidance. He really is brilliant. Not a single word was wasted. If you cannot follow his meaning, you truly cannot communicate with him on the same wavelength. A family like his certainly would not have taught him these things. So, he must have learned everything himself. The more Professor Wu spoke, the more regretful he became. Why had he failed to make the prodigy choose their university? Meanwhile, after Professor Ian understood the situation, he hurriedly thought of how to respond. The admissions director had genuinely given him full authority this time, telling him to win you over by any means necessary. Now was his chance to play his hand freely. Student Woe, you can rest assured. As for your parents and sister, we will take care of everything. Your parents run a restaurant, right? There happen to be several vacant storefronts near our university. Your parents can continue running the restaurant there. As for your sister, if she wants to attend our university, that can be arranged too. The choice is yours, Student Woe. In addition, if you come to our university, Student Woe, you can sign an integrated 3-year bachelor's, 2-year master's, and 3-year doctoral program agreement. Your tuition will be completely waived. After enrollment, the university will give you an initial reward of 500,000 yuan. You will also receive the highest level of annual scholarships and grants. A dedicated staff member will handle all the applications. You will not need to waste time on them. If you later want to pursue further studies abroad, the university will also help you apply for government-funded study abroad support. The government and university will cover all expenses during that period. Professor Ian's words sent the livestream chat into a frenzy. Did you hear that? They'll take care of his parents and sister too. A genius really does get special treatment. I'm practically drooling with envy. Top student Wo actually thinks about his family too. I cannot handle how touching this is. I'm crying. He just does not bother with fools. That does not mean he does not care about his family. If an intelligent person wants to care for someone, they will take care of everything thoroughly. The question is whether that person is worth the effort. He gets 500,000 yuan just for enrolling, and that does not even include scholarships and grants. By that calculation, you are going to university to make money, right? Damn, we spend money to attend university. He makes money. At that moment, everyone in the livestream chat became even more obsessed with top student Wo. You seemed fairly satisfied with Ian's arrangements and raised no objections. Instead, you continued, I have a second question. You were going to university with your whole family in tow, and you would even make money doing it. That probably only happens to someone like you. The livestream viewers were getting a real eye-opening experience. At that point, when they heard you had another question, they all focused their attention and waited eagerly for your next words. Professor Eidetic remained warm and pleasant. Even if you have 100 questions, he thought, I will answer every one of them today. As the Buddha said, if I do not enter hell, who will? When dealing with a genius, his many years of work experience told Professor Eidetic that he could only endure it. It was painful for now, but he believed that once he received his performance bonus and year-end bonus, this little hardship would be nothing. For the bonuses, he would give it everything he had. Student Luo, tell me your question. I will answer all of them. Your normally expressionless face finally showed a hint of anticipation. I want Professor Qing to teach me. Is that possible? Professor Eidetic breathed a sigh of relief. He thought, is that all? It is just a matter of studying microelectronic science and engineering. The requirements there are high, but with your qualifications, you easily meet the program's standards. Getting into microelectronic science and engineering would be incredibly easy for you. Of course not. Before Professor Eidetic could speak, Professor Qing's voice came from his phone. Professor Eidetic had forgotten that formidable woman was still on the line. Professor Eidetic regretted it terribly. What the hell was this? The moment Qing spoke, he knew things had gone wrong. Why? Because Qing was a genius too. When Qing entered Donli Institute of Technology, she had been Guangcheng's top science student with a perfect score. She continued her meteoric rise until she was 30. Then she became the university's youngest full professor. The students she mentored were almost without exception exceptionally intelligent. One of them, while still a graduate student, received an offer from the country's leading technology company, an offer under Waji's Genius program. It came with annual compensation of 850,000 yuan. He was Donli Institute of Technology's only student to receive such a high-paying offer before graduating. Qing herself had also been invited by Huaji to become a technical consultant, but Qing refused. She preferred academic research. The microelectronic science and engineering program had always been one of the university's flagship programs. Qing was also notoriously selective about her students. Now that she had flatly refused, Professor Eidetic's heart sank. Seriously, are all you top students this rebellious? One of you sets questions to test a university's strength, while the other refuses when someone wants to choose her program. Professor Eidetic was beginning to regret coming. Whatever is going on between you top students, what does it have to do with ordinary people like us? The recruiters nearby heard that Qing had rejected you and immediately lit up with delight. Since Professor Jia is not accepting students, our university has a microelectronic science and engineering program too. You are welcome to join us. Student Luo. Student Luo, if you are willing to come to our university, we will give you the reward right now. After you enroll, we will also have senior students help you get used to campus life as quickly as possible. Student Luo, come to our university, and we will find the best professor to mentor you. Seeing the recruiters show no concern for Professor Eidetic's feelings as they fought to recruit you, the livestream viewers were astonished to discover that university recruitment was surprisingly unpretentious and down to earth. We thought university recruitment was sophisticated and prestigious. In reality, it was full of cutthroat business tactics. Ha ha. Professor Eidetic is still standing right there, and these people are already this desperate. He must be going crazy. It seems that in this battle for talent, every professor will have to pull out all the stops. They are working so hard. This is the first time I have seen recruiters work this hard. The livestream viewers laughed as they watched the spectacle, but Professor Eidetic could not laugh at all. Damn, are you all taking advantage of my misfortune? Professor Eidetic had never seen colleagues act so shamelessly. They were actually poaching his recruit right in front of him. Though he complained inwardly, Professor Eidetic still had to dutifully remind Qing. Otherwise, the prize he had nearly secured might truly slip away. Professor Jia, we are live streaming right now, and there are many recruiters standing nearby. Professor Eidetic's entire message was simple. Please tone it down. You're scaring me. Qing fell silent on the other end of the phone. Why? You asked? You considered your qualifications quite exceptional. Otherwise, so many recruiters would not have rushed to your home. You tried to reason it out. Why would Professor Jia reject you? You could not understand why. Because my teaching style is different from other professors. I usually have my students prepare their own lessons. Then I randomly call on them to teach in class. Many students find this method difficult to accept, especially students who do not like to speak. Qing was a top student herself. Of course, she understood the problems some prodigies had. They tended to be withdrawn, whether in research or working anywhere. This could have consequences. In a society built on social connections, withdrawn people are bound to be excluded. Qing had once watched one of her own students become ostracized after joining a company. Eventually, He resigned in misery and went home to farm. That would be hard enough for an ordinary person to bear, let alone someone once hailed as a genius. So, Qing changed her teaching methods from then on. She hoped her students would develop social skills and quickly adapt to new environments. Qing believed that was a way to protect themselves. Most geniuses were quite young. If she could not teach them to communicate normally, the next student would still flee society, retreat into a safe house, and never come out again. She did not want to see another one of her students be scarred beyond recognition by society's unspoken rules, herself included. When students come to school, it is not merely to earn a degree. Forming their values and worldview also requires a teacher's guidance. That is not difficult. As Qing reflected on the past, you gave her your answer. You are not afraid of teaching? You will be facing around 30 people. Qing asked curiously. Do not top students like to stay hidden in a corner and study by themselves? Why would I be afraid of teaching? If teaching helps me organize my thoughts clearly, I see no reason to refuse. Only then did Qing understand what you meant. To you, teaching was a way to improve yourself, what others were like, or what they thought. You may never have considered at all. If you do not teach well, other students may point it out. Can you accept that? Geniuses often cannot accept public criticism. Yet this is something they often face at work. Qing placed great importance on building her students' resilience. Now she was curious how you would answer. Why should I accept it? Hearing your answer, Qing felt disappointed, as expected. Geniuses really couldn't take criticism. Just as she was about to end the call, you continued. First, I need to determine whether those criticisms are right or wrong. If they are wrong, why should I accept them? Professor Zhan froze. She had not expected him to think this way. When most people receive criticism, they first feel ashamed or angry. In that state, most people choose to argue back. You can calmly assess right and wrong. What if the other person is your supervisor or teacher? What if they criticize you unfairly? Qing pressed on. You looked utterly baffled. As long as it does not affect my studies or research, it is fine. As a genius, you will always face others' doubts. Qing did not let you off. Qing pressed on. Professor Zhan, would you really stoop to arguing with chirping little birds? You asked. Bewildered, Professor Zhan asked such strange questions. Hearing you speak so bluntly, Sun Shulan quickly admonished you. Do not speak to your teacher like that. You replied sullenly. What did I say? It does not seem like I said anything. Hearing the exchange between you and your mother, the livestream viewers burst out laughing. The genius is right. If they are wrong, why should he accept it? Ha ha. So in top student Luo's eyes, those people are just chirping little birds. That is savage. I have never heard anyone put it so bluntly. Top student Luo is so direct. Look at those recruiters. Their expressions are hilarious. Chirping little birds are not very hurtful, but the insult is devastating. Will genius Luo speak to his boss like that someday? I am genuinely curious. In her office, Professor Zhan stood stunned for several seconds before realizing what kind of person she was dealing with. It was true that geniuses tended to be withdrawn, but some geniuses focused more deeply on what they considered important and paid little attention to irrelevant opinions or remarks. That focus allowed them to avoid outside interference and hurt more easily, though in such cases, they might seem a little pretentious. At that moment, Professor Zhan felt you were truly promising. You were smart, but not as sensitive as others. You knew what mattered most. Though your words were not always pleasant, Professor Zhan believed that could gradually be changed. Many years later, when Professor Zhan recalled what she had thought then, she realized how naive she had been. Qing realized she needed to give you an answer. When she came back to herself, she immediately said, Very well, Luo Yao. I will be waiting for you at Dong Institute of Technology. She actually agreed. Professor Zhan, I would like to know more about you. Unlike everyone else, you did not react to Professor Xia's invitation. And there was a reason you suddenly asked that. Professor Zhan had asked a question that to him was not particularly intelligent. He had doubts about whether she truly had the ability to give him the help he needed. Afraid Qing might take offense, Professor Arang quickly introduced her. Professor Zhan is a national-level young talent. She currently serves as director of Dong Institute of Technology's General-Purpose Chips and Basic Software Research Center. Professor Zhan once supervised a graduate student who received an award through Waji's Genius Program. Waji also invited her to serve as a technical consultant, but Professor Zhan was too busy with research, so she declined. Luo Yao, do you know Huaji? We have a partnership with Huaji. If you want to work at Huaji in the future, we will absolutely secure the best possible terms for you. Hearing this, the viewers all marveled at how wonderful it was to have such a powerful alma mater. It could pave every road ahead for you. Meanwhile, you finally became interested. You knew Huaji was the country's largest provider of information and communications infrastructure and smart devices. Many people were proud to work for Huaji. You considered it. If you revealed the Eidetic technology, Huaji truly had the capability to commercialize it. Very well. She is the one. Thank you, Professor Eiang. Thank you, Professor Jia. When do I enroll? When Professor Eiang heard that, the weight on his heart finally lifted. Convincing this genius to choose them had truly not been easy. He asked you to wait a moment, then stepped aside to quietly confirm it with Jia King. Before Professor Eiang could speak, Professor Jia spoke first. Have him come as soon as possible. The freshman semester began over a month ago. If he comes now, he should still catch up with the classes. Now you are in a hurry. Were you not the one who did not want him before? Professor Eiang secretly found Jia King's behavior amusing. After finishing the call, he hung up. Then he walked over to you. After explaining all the enrollment arrangements, he opened the suitcase beside him and took out a laptop and portable printer. That is Professor Eiang for you. You even brought a printer. I only brought pre-printed agreements. Now it seems Professor Eiang's method is better. If there are any new terms, he can print the agreement on the spot. Well, Eiang, you really came prepared. You came thoroughly prepared. Once they saw Professor Eiang had secured you, the other recruiters' work was effectively over. They soon went back to their usual joking around. Though they were competitors, they were working people after all. Once off the clock, they were just ordinary people. They also saw each other often, so they got along quite well in private. I still have to thank you all. If any of you had arrived a little sooner, I probably would not have had a chance. Lunch is on me today. Let us all have a meal together. The recruiters were delighted to hear it, and all agreed. After all, none of the schools recruiting independently here were weak. Even if the professor's abilities varied, Professor Eiang could never say so outright. That was why he said he had only one, because he got there faster and managed to sign you today. That way, his relationship with the other recruiters would not become strained. Listening nearby, you narrowed your eyes at Professor Eiang just as you were about to speak. Quick thinking, Sun Shulan changed the subject. Yao is going to Dong Institute of Technology. What do you need to pack? I do not have much. There is not much to pack. Of course, Sun Shulan knew your situation, she said. Then I will pack for your father and me, and for Luo Yao. Hey, everyone in the live stream, I need to pack. So I am signing off. You all saw it. My son is going to college. I am going with him. I do not know if I will live stream again after this. When the viewers heard that, they all came flooding into the chat. Ma'am, you can still live stream for us from the university. We want updates on Genius Luo. Congratulations, Annie, on having such an amazing son. Oh, I just remembered. Did one guy not say earlier that if Genius Luo proved he knew algebraic topology, he would send rocket gifts? Has Genius Luo not already proved it? Send them. You have to send them. Consider it a back-to-school gift for Genius Luo. Everyone, show our genius some love. Led by that viewer, more than 10 rocket gifts appeared in the live stream. Sun Shulan had never seen anything like it. Frightened, she quickly apologized and ended the live stream. She feared that if she did not shut it down, more and more people would send gifts. Meanwhile, Professor Eiang had printed the agreement. He first handed it to Luo Xingwo. Luo Xingwo waved him off. Let my son read it. I do not understand it very well. Professor Eiang immediately understood who truly called the shots in this family. After he handed it to you, you scanned it in seconds. Once you confirmed the agreement had no issues, you signed your name. Once the agreement was signed, Professor Eiang took the other recruiters out for a meal. He had wanted your family to join them, but you declined. Professor Eiang assumed your family probably had things to discuss, so he did not insist they come along. Once Li Hong saw the agreement was signed, she knew she had no chance left. Taking that opportunity, she left as well. After the recruiters left the small restaurant, Professor Wu asked the classic question. Where are we eating now? How far away can it be? Is there not one right next door? Let us eat here. Then I can discuss the next steps with Luo afterward. Fine. You are the one who signed him today. Ha ha. Everyone, eat and drink your fill at lunch today. It is all on me. Professor Eiang had completed his mission. He could not have been happier. He led the group of recruiters to Wang's Stir Fry, just a few steps from the Luo family home. The owner of Wang's Stir Fry was none other than Wang Ergu, who had a minor grudge against the Luo family. When he saw several people in suits walking over from the Luo home, he hurriedly welcomed them inside. Did the place next door not suit your tastes? Do not worry. Our dishes here can be tailored to your preferences. Spicy or sweet, anything you like. Wang Ergu said as he poured tea. The recruiters present had seen it all. After hearing Wang Ergu say that, they exchanged glances. Both this place and the Luo family's place were small restaurants. This owner clearly had some grudge against the Luo family. Not really. We just did not want to trouble them. Professor Eiang told him the truth, but Wang Ergu took it another way. Oh. You are such a kind customer. You are even speaking up for them. You misunderstand, boss. We all came because of the Luo family's son. Now that our business is done, we could hardly trouble them to host us for a meal. What could so many people want with the Luo family's son? Wang Ergu hurriedly asked what had happened. When he learned these teachers had come to invite you to college, Wang Ergu felt bitter. Why does he get to go to college? I thought he was only in high school. If that is not against the rules, What is? Wang Ergu had no idea what independent admissions meant. He only knew that college required taking the national entrance exam. Going to college without taking that exam had to mean someone pulled strings. Hey, what did you say? What do you mean? Against the rules. The recruiter from Zhan University had already failed to complete his task that day and was in a foul mood. Now a small restaurant owner was accusing them of breaking rules, and that made him furious. I heard you have to take the national entrance exam to attend college. When Wang Ergu heard the other man's voice rise sharply, his confidence instantly crumbled. Boss, it is not your fault you do not know. This town has probably never seen anything like this. This is independent admission. It means universities can select exceptional students in advance to study at their schools. Of course, these students cannot be chosen at random. They must win awards in national competitions. Wang Ergu had never heard of this. Stunned, he said, "Did that little boy win a national competition award?" "Yes, and he won more than one. Otherwise, we would not have come from the capital, Zhejiang, Jiangsheng, and other places so far away." Hearing Professor Ayang say they had come from such distant places, he found it even more unbelievable. "You came all that way for one kid? Why?" Wang Ergu asked incredulously. "Because he is a rare genius, sir. You know what the education level is like in this town, do you not? Yet under those conditions, you defeated countless top students raised on expensive education and won first prize in national competitions in mathematics, physics, and chemistry. Think about someone like that. How could the country let him waste his life in this small town?" Wang Ergu's expression darkened. He had originally thought you were only a little smarter than his son, but now someone was telling him you had surpassed students across the country and won first prize in national competitions. That meant he was going to study in a big city. Wang Ergu stared at Professor Ayang in disbelief, wanting to confirm it once more. "That is right. Luo Yao will soon be in a big city, receiving the best education available." Hearing Professor Ayang say that, Wang Ergu grew anxious. He grabbed Professor Ayang's sleeve. "Professor, my child will take the national entrance exam soon. Could you help get him into college too?" Professor Ayang glanced at Professor Zhu, who was quietly snickering nearby. Then he told Wang Ergu, "Sir, that is a recruiter from Yan University. Why not ask him?" The moment he heard a Yan University recruiter was here too, Wang Ergu immediately abandoned Professor Ayang and went to grab Professor Zhu instead. Professor Zhu cursed Ayang inwardly, while patiently telling Wang Ergu, "Sir, our independent admissions program only accepts students who won first prize in national competitions. Has your child won any awards? Do school-run competitions count?" "No." Seeing Wang Ergu's disappointed expression, Professor Zhu found him rather pitiful. He still offered some comfort. "Sir, every child has a different path. You do not have to force it. What your son excels at, others may not excel at either, right? What your son has, others may not have. So there is no need to compare." Professors who never expected those words would give Wang Ergu an idea. "That is right. Our business is better than the Luo families, and we have more money than they do. Even if my son cannot get into college, we can take care of him for life. Unlike the Luo family, who are dirt poor, they even borrowed the money to open their restaurant." Wang Ergu was a crude man, and he quickly regained his confidence. In his eyes, aside from you, the Luo family had nothing worth showing off. The recruiters exchanged looks and knew there was no point continuing this conversation. They did not even eat, but rose and left Wang stir-fry. Wang Ergu was left behind, muttering curses. After they left the restaurant, Professor Zhu pulled Professor Ayang aside. "The Luo family needs to move. The sooner, the better. If they can leave today, they should. Otherwise, who knows what might happen." Professor Ayang gave a wry smile. "I can see that too. Jealousy can twist a person, especially since you are the Luo family's hope. How easy would it be to ruin this child? With the way he speaks, he has probably offended plenty of people already. News of his early college admission will spread quickly. Even trivial matters get blown out of proportion in a small town, let alone something this big. People who do not understand, maybe like that owner just now, and think he got into college through connections. How could the Luo family face rumors like that? So no matter what, the sooner you leave, the better." After hearing Professor's analysis, Professor Ayang nodded in agreement. "That is what I was thinking too. If no one is busy today, could you help me move Luo Yao's family?" The recruiters walked over to him, laughing. "You owe us another meal. Next time, I am eating at your most expensive restaurant. We have not eaten today. Should we handle that first? Moving is hard work." Seeing everyone willing to help, Professor Ayang felt deeply grateful. They strolled to a snack stall about half a mile away. After wolfing down a few snacks, they split up to get things done. Some went to rent vehicles, some bought plane tickets, while others returned to your home to persuade your family. "We are leaving today? Why so urgently?" Sun Shulan had still been slowly packing inside, but when she heard Professor Ayang say they had to leave with them today, she was startled. That is the school's arrangement. They mainly want Luo Yao to report to campus sooner. Professor Ayang told a well-intentioned lie. "I see. All right, then. I will pack right away. Luckily, we do not have much. Sun Shulan hurriedly directed Luo Xingwo to pack the living room. After Sun Shulan left, the person who had silently listened all along suddenly approached Professor Ayang and said, "The reason you want us to leave immediately, is it because of the Wang family?" Professor Ayang's heart skipped a beat. He thought, this child really is a monster. How can nothing be hidden from him? You did not mention this when we signed the agreement, but after you went to eat, you suddenly made this decision. So, while you were eating, something must have happened. Still, this is for the best. We were never in the same world. Sooner or later, we would leave. After saying that, you walked away, leaving Professor Ayang standing there in a daze. So this was why the boy did not want to deal with them. He knew he would definitely leave this town. So the Wang family simply did not matter to him. Professor Ayang had heard that when highly intelligent people weigh pros and cons, they often consider matters more thoroughly, analyzing every possible result and consequence to make choices that best serve them. Professor Ayang now felt he was seeing a living example of it. Poor emotional intelligence was actually the result of a genius's calculated decision, with everyone working together. By round 5 that afternoon, everything belonging to the Luo family was packed. When Luo Zhu returned home, she suddenly found her home completely changed. Why was everything packed up? They really were moving. But why had nobody told her? If she had come back any later, would the whole house have been gone already? Mom, Dad, what is going on? Why is everything packed up? Luo Zhu started questioning them the moment she entered. When Sun Shulan heard Luo Zhu's voice, she realized she had apparently forgotten to tell her daughter that they were moving, and instantly felt awkward. Zhu, you were not home today. I have been so busy that I forgot to tell you. Your brother has been admitted to college. The school has arranged a place for our whole family. Once we finish packing, we are leaving. Luo Zhu was stunned by the news. Only after several seconds did she understand what her mother meant. Her brother had won an award in the national competition. Luo Zhu remembered the competition her brother had entered and spoke with delighted surprise. Luo Yao won first prizes in all 3: mathematics, physics, and chemistry. He is the first person in the country to reach this level. That is why we recruiters came. Luo Zhu looked toward the speaker and only then noticed strangers in the house. You are Luo Zhu, right? I am Ayang, a recruiter from Dong Institute of Technology. I am responsible for taking your family to Dong Institute of Technology. Luo Zhu was delighted at first, but then became confused. With her brother's grades, he should have easily gotten into Qing University or Yan University. He was more than qualified. Why was this man saying you were going to his school? Luo Zhu had her doubts, but she did not voice them to Professor Ayang. She only said worriedly, the whole family is moving, but I just found a job here. Ayang froze. Luo Zhu had a job. That was not what he had heard. Luo Zhu, are you working now? No. I am not in school. Luo Zhu shook her head shyly. My grades were average, and I only got into a low-ranked college. I thought graduating from one would make it hard to find a good job anyway, so I did not want to waste the money. Professor Ayang looked at Luo Zhu's plain, simple clothes and understood. He said, if you go to college, the school can help you apply for a student loan. It is interest-free. You only repay it after graduating and finding work. Such a wonderful opportunity would be a shame to waste. Luo Zhu nodded. My brother said the same thing. But if I go to school, only my brother will be left at home. If I stay, I can still look after my parents. I see. So, Luo Zhu was an ordinary, dutiful daughter. Professor Ayang recalled the agreement he had made with Luo Yao. He said, I promised your brother that besides arranging jobs for your parents, I would also handle your education based on your previous grades. After repeating your final year of high school, our school can admit you through a special arrangement. What? My brother's university will not only arrange jobs for our parents, but also help me get into college? Luo Zhu had never imagined such good fortune. In disbelief, she asked, Professor, is all of this true? Of course it is. You can ask your mother. When we signed the agreement, she was there too. Luo Zhu turned to Sun Shulan. Sun Shulan nodded repeatedly. Of course it is true. Zhu, your brother also received a school award worth 500,000 yuan. If you want to study now, you can go without worry. Sun Shulan knew that Luo Zhu had saved money and cared for them by giving up college. Because of that, Sun Shulan had always felt she owed Luo Zhu. But now, things were different. You secured a place in college for Luo Zhu, so she could fulfill her dream of attending university. Luo Zhu was naturally thrilled by the news, but she also hesitated. Could her grades really get her into the same school as you? Ever since childhood, you knew your sister's grades best. Teachers could not always explain the problems she did not understand, but you could always make them clear to her. But now her brother was going to college. Who would explain the problems to her? After Luo Zhu nervously explained, Professor Ayang was stunned as well. He had not expected Luo Zhu's past grades to depend depend on you two. These siblings had nearly identical DNA. How could the difference be so vast? With a complicated expression, he said, if you truly want to attend college, do not worry about your grades. Just focus on repeating your final year. You are 19 now, right? You can still keep up if you start over. The school will lower the admission requirements for you. After all, the admissions director had put him fully in charge of Luoyao. The school had gained a genius. Taking in one ordinary student should not be a problem, right? Professor Eying thought to himself. When Professor Eying plainly said she could be admitted with lower scores, Luozhu instantly grabbed her mother and jumped for joy. She was indeed 19 already. She had never imagined that with her brother's help, she would have another chance to attend college. After her excitement settled, Luozhu called her workplace to resign. She worked at a courier station. When she called, her boss was surprised. Luozhu, did you find a better job? Luozhu hurriedly explained. No, boss. It is not like that. I am going to repeat my final year of high school and prepare for college entrance exams. Her boss asked curiously. Were you not worried about wasting your family's money before? Which was why you decided not to go. I have my brother to thank for this. All right, boss. I need to start packing now. Thank you for looking after me. Though her boss had questions, he could not say much over the phone. He agreed to send Luozhu's wages for this period to her WeChat account, then hung up. The rest was simple. Luozhu returned to her room, quickly packed her things, and prepared to leave with everyone. There were no good cars in town, so Professor Zhu rented to 7-seat vans. He drove them behind the Luo family's small restaurant. He joked, as recruiters, we not only help people move, but also work as part-time drivers. We are practically good at everything. What is wrong with serving a genius? I hope Professor Eying's luck rubs off on us, so we can recruit a genius next time too. Ha ha ha. Professor Eying is our lucky charm now. You sat expressionlessly in the front seat. In the car, Professor Eying reminded you. Student Luo, we are about to leave. Do you want to say goodbye to your friends? I have no friends. You looked at Professor Eying, not understanding why he would say that. Must people have friends? Who says so? Seeing your utterly serious expression, Professor Eying felt that he had spoken too quickly again. Right. How could someone like you possibly have friends? Professor Eying was about to change the subject, but Sun Shulan perked up when she heard him. Professor Eying, at college, there are smart people like my son, right? Will it be easier for him to make friends there? There are certainly many smart people at college, but people as smart as you are truly hard to find, at least so far. He had never seen any student win first prize in all 3 national competitions. I suppose so. You can see for yourself when you get there. Professor Eying also hoped that at college, you could make friends. It would help with your life there. After all, you cannot stay with your family forever. That is wonderful. My son has never had friends his whole life. It worries us terribly. If it were not for your sister, you would have been even lonelier. Sun Shulan quickly told you in the front seat. Yaoer, did you hear that? Once you get to college, you can make friends. Seeing Sun Shulan so happy, you turned to Professor Eying and asked, are all college students smart? Why have I heard people describe them as innocent, foolish college students? Did you have to be so blunt? Professor Eying grew worried. With your personality, he truly feared you might be isolated by others. Hey, that is only a joke. The students at our school are all quite decent, especially those in your major. Professor Eying was not lying. Professor Jia Qing oversaw microelectronic science and engineering, and she had always been extremely selective about her students. Its students were widely recognized as intelligent. Once you are there, you might really find a few friends. Could you really make friends? After Professor Eying said that, you found yourself strangely looking forward to it. Your mother always felt that you could not make friends, that you were all alone, and terribly pitiful. But you did not think it mattered. You enjoyed being alone. You could study electromagnetism without interruption, or work through math problems. But the Luo family did not understand any of this. They believed people needed friends. Take his sister, for instance. She had 4 or 5 friends in town. She had even cried while saying goodbye to them on the phone. You could not understand that feeling. To you, it seemed useless. Still, to make your mother happy, you were willing to make a few friends in college. At least Professor Eying had said. People at college were not that foolish. Night slowly fell. 7 recruiters escorted the Luo family to the airport. To avoid further trouble, Professor Eying asked your parents not to tell anyone before reaching the school. Once they arrived at the school, Sun Shulan finally told her friends that her family had moved to the big city. As a few friends spread the news, the entire town was soon in an uproar. The Luo family was so poor, yet they had moved to the big city. Even more unbelievable, they had done it all because of you alone. That day, many parents in town began pushing their children harder. They hoped that one day, their children could be like you and take the whole family to live in a big city. When Wang Ergu learned the Luo family had left, he was both delighted and furious. He was delighted because their restaurant would be the only one in the area. They would not have to worry about business anymore. But he was furious because the Luos had reached the big city before they did. Wang Ergu called his son over. He said bitterly, That brat Luo Yao is gone now. You had better study hard. One day, you must live better than him. Understand? After seeing his son nod, Wang Ergu's anger eased a little. Just wait, Luo Yao. He is only a little smart now. Once he enters the workforce, he will still work for someone else. Wang Ergu had heard that many college graduates still worked for others after entering society, so he did not think college students were anything special. Son, study hard. After you graduate from college, come home and inherit the family restaurant. If our family has a little more money by then, we can expand the restaurant business. Fortunately, while the Wang father and son planned their grand ambitions, Luo Yao's family had already left the airport. In the car, Professor Yang made several calls, arranging accommodations for you and your family. Luo Yao's family obviously could not stay in the dorm with him, so Professor Yang placed them in staff housing. Since you arrived more than a month after everyone else, they could only place you in a dorm room that was not full. To make it easier for you to interact with others, Professor Yang negotiated with the housing office. In a mixed major dorm room, students from other majors were moved to another room. Only to microelectronic science and engineering students remained. Before boarding the flight to Dongcheng, the other recruiters had already left on other flights. They still had assignments to complete, so they did not accompany the Luo family. As the Luo family rode toward Donli Institute of Technology, they were stunned by the scenery outside the windows. There was actually an ocean. The family had never seen the sea before, and all were drawn to the sea blue expanse in the distance. Even you, always lost in your own world, were captivated by the sea. It was your first time seeing the ocean. A salty, damp scent seemed to drift in from the sea on the air. Breathing in that unfamiliar scent, you were filled with anticipation for the life ahead. Donli Institute of Technology covered about 516 acres. It had more than 30,000 students. It was lunchtime, and students who had finished eating were wandering around campus. When Professor Yang had the taxi driver enter campus, it naturally drew plenty of attention. Which professor is that driving down this road? Are they not afraid the principal will punish them? Exactly. Cars are not allowed near the dorms, and two cars came in at once. That takes nerve. I want to see which professor is that bold. The students all turned toward the taxis. They discovered that the taxis first stopped briefly by the staff residences, then headed toward the student dorms. What is going on? Are they dropping off a student? Has the registration period not already ended? Why are they arriving now? No way. Could this be some rich kid? A rich kid can register this late, only showing up after our military training is over? I want to see which shameless rich kid this is. The well-fed students had nothing else to do anyway. The moment they heard that a rich kid was registering at this time, they immediately became indignant. Getting special treatment, huh? They wanted to see who dared demand special treatment. So, when Yang led you from the car, quite a few students gathered around. Do these students have nothing better to do? Why come running over to stare? Professor Yang was completely baffled, quietly wondering to himself. After you got out of the car, you looked at the people around you and frowned slightly. Professor Yang, the students here do not seem as smart as you said. Standing around here is simply a waste of time. Professor Yang was instantly embarrassed. He quickly tried to explain. These students had class all morning. They just want to relax now. What a bunch of clowns. Professor Yang did not dare let you remain outside the dorm any longer. Otherwise, your impression of the school would be ruined by that troublesome bunch. When they saw Professor Yang take you inside, the onlookers began chatting. That guy is so handsome, but judging by how he is dressed, he does not look like a rich kid. Why do I feel like he is very young? He looks like a high school student. A high school student? He looks at least 5 feet 11 inches tall, right? Do you not know? Students grow really tall these days. I am judging by his demeanor. He definitely is not very old. That handsome face. I feel like I have seen it somewhere before. Where could you have seen him? Could it have been from a live stream? You know, maybe. That is actually possible. Though he looks a little socially anxious, he does not seem like someone who would live stream. The students had finally found something to talk about, and the discussion quickly spiraled out of control. Before long, posts about you appeared on the student forum. Professor Yang led you into the dormitory building. Counselor Huang Yu had been waiting outside the dorm manager's office. You are here. Counselor Huang, this is Luo Yao from your class. Based on the information Professor Yang had sent, Huang Yu already knew he was a rare genius. Looking at the expressionless boy before her, she did her best to appear warm and approachable. Hello, Luo Yao. I am your counselor. From now on, whether it is about school or daily life, you can come to me. I can come to you about anything. Are you smarter than Professor Qing? You quickly answered in all seriousness. I will not need help with daily life. My parents and sister are here. If there is a problem, I can ask them. Can I come to you with academic questions too? Then what subjects are you good at? Mathematics, physics, chemistry? Microelectronics, electronic devices, electromagnetism, integrated circuits, or electronic design automation? You can tell me. I will write it down and ask you whenever I have questions. Huang Yu had clearly only meant it as a polite remark, but when she saw how serious you were, she was completely stunned. Seriously. This genius was so literal-minded. He took a casual remark seriously. What did she know about microelectronics? When Huang Yu said nothing, you quickly realized it. It seems you do not know any of those. You were somewhat disappointed. Counselor Huang, let us head upstairs. Let Luo Yao get some proper rest. We have just gotten off the plane and have not even completed the paperwork. The moment Huang Yu heard that, she knew Professor Ayang was giving her a graceful way out. She gave him a grateful look, then quickly led the way. She did not dare speak to you again. She feared that if she said any more, she would reveal that she had probably forgotten everything she had learned as a student. Meanwhile, Wang Yi and Wu Tianming, from room 606 in the men's dorm, were tidying up their room. Tianming, who do you think this new guy is? Everyone who lived in this room got moved out for him. Bossy, if you are asking me, who am I supposed to ask? After Wu Qianming finished wiping down the dorm desks, he went over and sat in his chair. His registration date is later than ours. He is either a genius or has some kind of health issue. Medical circumstances? What do you mean? Wang Yi carried so much excess weight that he was more than twice as wide as an average person. After working for a while, he was already tired. Seeing Wu Qianming sitting down, he tossed aside the broom in his hand and sat down too. I heard some students have to be hospitalized for treatment, so they register later than us. Wang Yi slapped his thigh in sudden realization. No wonder the teachers moved everyone else out. They must be afraid students from other majors would discriminate against him. Hey, when this guy gets here, we need to treat him well. We cannot let him be mistreated here. With Bossy here, who would dare bully someone from our room? Get lost. Stop buttering me up and change what you call me. Just call me Brother Yi. Why do I feel like you are insulting me? As the two joked around, there was suddenly a knock at the dorm door. Wang Yi and Wu Tianming exchanged a look. Then, under Wu Qianming's puppy-eyed stare, Wang Yi went to open it. At the door stood Professor Ayang, the counselor, and a handsome boy. Wang Yi understood at once. This had to be the legendary new roommate, Luo Yao. Come in. This is your dorm room. These two will share the room with you. They are in the same major as you. The same major. So they study microelectronic science and engineering too. You looked at them, a rare spark of interest appearing in your eyes. Come on. Introduce yourselves to your new classmate. At Professor Ayang's prompting, Wu Qianming and Wang Yi introduced themselves to you. Normally, it would be your turn to introduce yourself. Remembering what Wu Qianming had said earlier, that the new student might have an illness, Wang Yi thoughtfully said, Classmate, if there is anything private you do not want to share, you do not have to say it. Qianming and I are not that nosy. That is right. We will not pry into your privacy. The interest on your face swiftly turned to bewilderment. What privacy did you have to hide? Do you mean the fact that I come from a small town and that I won first prizes in the national math, physics, and chemistry competitions? Or that I am only 16 years old? First prizes in national math, physics, and chemistry competitions. This kid is only 16. Wang Yi and Wu Qianming's expressions turned complicated. They realized that every one of their guesses had been wrong. The new student had not arrived late because he was ill. That was not why he registered so late. He had come through independent admissions. First prizes in national math, physics, and chemistry competitions. What did that even mean? Neither of them had ever won one. Forget national awards. All their awards had been provincial. Was this new classmate even human? He had actually won 3 national first prizes. And what stung even more was that he had said he came from a small town. Was he seriously showing off? Counselor Huang, our new classmate is incredible. Quick-witted as Wang Yi was, he worried you might be joking. So he immediately sought confirmation from the counselor. What could Counselor Huang say? Was she supposed to admit that Luo Yao had left her speechless downstairs? Did Counselor Huang not have any pride? Wang Yi, Wu Qianming, this is Luo Yao. He is a newly admitted student at our school. Although he is only 16, he will be starting freshman year alongside you. Luo Yao is young, so please look after him. From Counselor Wang's words, Wang Yi and Wu Qianming both understood what she meant. Everything this kid had said was true. Otherwise, Counselor Huang would have refuted him. He was better than them and was attending freshman year with them at 16. What kind of world was this? Wu Qianming thought. Just arriving at school, he had a counselor and another professor personally escorting him. An ordinary person could never cause such a stir. It seemed what you had said was true. Wu Qianming did not know whether your words were innocent or deliberate, but his first impression of you was not particularly good. Brat, if you are a genius, You are a genius. Why put on airs? Still, the new student had already been brought into the room. Wu Tianming could only warmly say, "Welcome aboard, new classmate. Where is your luggage? Wang Yi, let us help our new classmate carry his things in." Seeing Wu Tianming get moving, Wang Yi resigned himself and walked toward Professor Ayang. He went to collect the pile of belongings Ayang pointed out, but once they got closer and looked carefully, both of them froze. They discovered that your belongings, everything you own, was packed in the cheapest red and blue woven sacks. Packed in them, there was not a single suitcase. Of course, Wu Tianming knew what that meant. He quickly put aside the slight resentment he felt toward you. He picked up a woven sack and carried it into the room. "You three, get along well. We will be going now. Luo, if you need anything, remember to tell Counselor Huang. If Counselor Huang is busy, you can come to me. Also, I will look after your family. Just settle in with your classmates." Admissions Officer Ayang watched Wu Tianming and Wang Yi volunteer to carry your luggage and was very satisfied. He wanted you to get familiar with them quickly. After giving these instructions, Admissions Officer Ayang left with Huang Yu. When they reached the 5th floor, Admissions Officer Ayang asked, "Are those two students really reliable? I hate to remind you, but given your situation, you know this all too well, do you not?" Wang Yu stumbled on the stairs. She hurriedly grabbed the wall to steady herself. "Mr. Ayang, rest assured, I know he is a special talent recruited by the school. Wu Tianming is the 3rd son of the owner of Dongcheng Xingyao Group. His family is well off, and he is kind and generous. He knows how to handle people. He previously shared a room with students from other majors, and everyone spoke highly of him. Wang Yu's family deals in antiques. He is cheerful and easygoing. Even when teachers criticize him, he never gets angry." Admissions Officer Ayang had been pressed for time before, so he had not had time to properly assess the two students. After hearing Huang Yu's explanation, he was immediately reassured. Then they are indeed a good fit. Living with him will require some patience. This child excels in every way. He is just rather blunt. Counselor Huang, please be understanding. How could Huang Yu dare complain? She quickly smiled along. Geniuses are all like that. I will take extra care of him. That is all I ask. The school went to great lengths to recruit him. You rarely get to work with talent at his level. Now that he is under your care, it will be an important credential on your resume. Only then did Huang Yu suddenly realize how important you were to her. A counselor's position rarely offers opportunities to stand out. Many counseled several classes of students and still went nowhere. The path to promotion was narrow. Only by finding an exceptionally gifted student could she break the deadlock. Moments ago, your blunt words had upset her, but Mr. Ayang's words woke her up, and she immediately grasped the key. As long as she took good care of you, her path to promotion would be far smoother than other counselors. Then she recalled Mr. Ayang's earlier instruction. If you could not reach her, you were to contact him directly. Huang Yu immediately understood. From then on, her every action would be seen by Mr. Ayang. Thank you for the reminder, Mr. Ayang. I will take good care of him. Before this, Huang Yu had only been going through the motions. Now, she had found the key to advancing her career. She was suddenly full of drive. Admissions Officer Ayang noticed Huang Yu's change in attitude. He knew that by tying this to her promotion, he had successfully made her take you seriously, without a personal incentive. Expecting an ordinary counselor to go the extra mile was unrealistic. On a basic salary, there was no reason to lavish extra attention on the school's prized recruit. That was only human nature. At work, different mindsets produce vastly different results. That was the harsh reality of the workplace. You were blunt by nature, so Mr. Ayang could only do his best to clear the way for you. So you would face fewer obstacles on campus. Good. I still need to handle his enrollment and financial aid. I will leave him in your care for now. Come to me anytime if you are unsure about something, thinking of your plain luggage and clothes. Huang Yu guessed that your family was not well off. She quickly asked Mr. Ayang, when will his scholarship and financial aid arrive? New students have many expenses when they first enroll. Mr. Ayang sighed inwardly. She really had taken it to heart. He smiled and replied, don't worry. The school will first issue him a special award. The scholarship and aid require processing and will be paid out afterward. Only then was Huang Yu relieved. Meanwhile, in the dorm room, Wu Tianming and Wang Yi were helping you unpack. We put all your clothes in the wardrobe. Tell us anytime if you need anything. Wu Tianming placed your neatly folded clothes in the wardrobe. He was just about to praise you for being meticulous when you suddenly spoke. When you say I can come to you if I need something, do you mean it? Or are you just being polite? Wu Tianming paused. He had never met anyone who asked such a direct question. After putting it that way, how could he possibly say it was just politeness? Of course I mean it. What do you need help with? He tried to keep his tone casual. Can I borrow your books? I want to see what microelectronic science and engineering actually covers. Wu Tianming had thought that if the newcomer made an outrageous request, he would have to lay down some ground rules. He had not expected you to merely ask to borrow books. At once, he felt you were not so difficult to get along with. He handed you the books. He also thoughtfully included his class notes, These are my notes, so they will make the material easier to understand. You accepted the notes without expression. You flipped to the last page and glanced at it. Then you asked in confusion. In stack addressing, let F be the accumulator, S be the stack pointer, and PSP the top stack cell addressed by SP. If the operation transfers the top stack value into F, then SP becomes SP plus 1. That is a pop operation for something this basic. Why did you make special notes? You closed the notebook and looked at Wu Tianming. You bluntly explained, a pop first moves SP up to point at the data, then transfers the top stack data into the accumulator. For such a simple concept, does taking notes not distract you from the lecture? Wu Tianming instantly withdrew his newfound fondness for you. That way of speaking was far too blunt. Wang Yi, standing nearby, stared in disbelief. He could not help asking, have you studied this before? You casually flipped through the textbook. You answered calmly, I read it casually at the library in middle school. I did not realize this was freshman coursework. Is all freshman material this easy? Professor Eying said it was difficult. You realized these courses were all subjects the system had forced you to study before. The small town library had limited books. Most were old textbooks bought from the recycling depot. But to you, they were a treasure trove for self-study. With your breadth of knowledge, you already had college-level ability at 13. In middle school, you spent every day studying at the library. Those were the happiest, most carefree days of your life. But your words were deeply shocking to Wu Tianming and Wang Yi. You had taught yourself freshman major courses in middle school. That was unbelievable. We are just learning this material. Taking notes is perfectly normal. Do you never take notes when you study? Top students' notes are in high demand. Notes only put knowledge on paper. They do not put it in your head. Everything I have seen stays in my mind. You were telling the truth. The system's gift of perfect recall meant you had no need for notes. One look was enough to remember everything. Wang Yi stared at you in amazement, as though you were some kind of monster. Yes, I memorized things very quickly. Your tone was flat, as if you were stating something utterly ordinary. Wang Yi quietly leaned toward Wu Tianming. He whispered, what is going on? If he is telling the truth, that is photographic memory from an extraordinarily developed right brain. His right brain is developed far beyond that of ordinary people. He can store information as precisely as a camera. A human camera. Wang Yi exclaimed in awe. A human camera? Is that a carbon-based life form or a silicon-based one? The unfamiliar phrase piqued your curiosity. The two exchanged a look. They both sensed that college life ahead would be anything but ordinary. Just then, Wang Yi's stomach growled. It is already noon. Let us get lunch together. I do not have a meal card. You remember Professor Eying had not given you your meal card yet. Wang Yi grinned. Why worry about not having a meal card? I have one. Have you heard that classic line? Put it on my card. You shook your head. Come on, Brother Yi is treating you today. As Wang Yi spoke, he moved to put an arm around your shoulders. You swiftly stepped aside to avoid him. I do not like unfamiliar people getting close to me. Wang Yi's hand froze in midair. Helplessly, he draped it over Wu Tianming instead. He muttered, this kid does not appreciate anything. The three of you went to the cafeteria and got your meals. You suddenly looked into the distance. You asked, do you know that person? Wang Yi followed your gaze. Oh, the student council president. What about him? He got a lot of food, but he is only eating a few dishes. If there are foods he avoids, would you deliberately take them? Wu Tianming and Wang Yi both shook their heads. It costs money and waste food. No one would do that. He fears being excluded from his social circle for avoiding certain foods, so he uses this to fit in. People like that are used to hiding what they really think. They are not suited for close friendship. You analyzed him without expression. Wang Yi and Wu Tianming were stunned again. You could dissect someone's mind just by watching them eat. That was incredible. Wang Yi smiled and placed the large chicken drumstick from his tray onto yours. Not bad. You read people so well. Here is a chicken drumstick as your reward. You froze for a few seconds, but accepted it in the end. Not long after, your phone vibrated. It was your mother calling. Your mother said Professor Ariang had taken them out for a meal. When she learned you were with your roommates, she was especially happy. Before hanging up, your mother told you the 500,000 yuan award from the school had arrived. She asked how you planned to allocate it. I will think about it and tell you later. After you hung up, Wu Qianming casually asked, is your family worried about you? You answered honestly, no. My mom said the school's 500,000 yuan award arrived. She asked how I wanted to allocate it. With a clatter, Wu Qianming and Wang Yi dropped their chopsticks onto the table. That unintentional flex was absolutely devastating. Wang Yi muttered quietly to Wu Qianming. Naturally, you heard him. You asked in confusion, flexing? When you enrolled, did the school not give you an award? Wu Qianming did not know whether to laugh or cry. We got in through the college entrance exam. We are lucky just to be in this major. What award could there be? Only then did you understand their reaction. After a pause, you said seriously, but you are good people. You will have other opportunities in the future. The two nearly fainted. That social awareness was painfully blunt. Wu Qianming quickly changed the subject. How do you plan to spend that award? Get a new phone. Your phone has far too few functions. You took out your old red phone. You said earnestly, I think it is quite good. Nokia 5310 Express Music. It is sturdy and durable. One charge lasts 3 days. Can that phone install WeChat or QQ? No, and I do not use them. Call or text me if you need to reach me. Wang Yi was completely speechless. He kept feeling that the way you looked at him was like you thought he was not very smart. Everyone in class uses smartphones. Are you not afraid they will laugh at you? Wu Qianming kindly warned you. They use smartphones, but are they as intelligent as I am? The phone is smart, not the person using it. Changing phones has no meaning for me. Wu Qianming had no response. Then he asked, what about a computer? You need one for assignments. Do you not? The school has computers we can use. There is no need to buy one myself. The principle of diminishing marginal utility. An ordinary computer would not be much better than the school's equipment, yet it would cost a great deal more. There is no reason for me to make such an unprofitable choice. What you need is a supercomputer, not an ordinary home computer. Wu Qianming and Wang Yi were completely won over by your logic. A top student's way of thinking really is different from ordinary people's. Meanwhile, admissions officer Yang was having a meal with your family. Please rest assured, ma'am, I specifically arranged kind roommates for him, and a counselor to keep a special eye on him. Nothing will go wrong. Sun Shulan had wanted to go check on you, but Mr. Yang talked her out of it. Mom, Mr. Yang has arranged everything thoroughly. Do not hover over him too closely, or his classmates will make fun of him. Your older sister, Wo Zhu, urged her as well. Luo Xingwo, who had been silent, also spoke. What college student has parents following him around every day? If you want him to make friends, do not worry over him excessively. Sun Shulan thought it over and agreed, so she abandoned the idea. Now that your child is in college, what do you plan to do next? The university town cafeteria is hiring staff. The work is not demanding. I can arrange it directly. Sun Shulan paused. Mr. Yang, did you not say you would help us find a storefront to start a business? I just thought running a shop would be too exhausting. Cafeteria work is easier. No matter how hard it is, it cannot be harder than what my child has endured. Zhuer gave up college for the family. Ever since he was little, this child has read until late every night. He always says there is still so much to learn. Mr. Yang was deeply moved by her words. Even a genius worked this hard. That was truly rare. He felt more certain than ever that recruiting you had been the right decision. Since you want to open a shop, I will take you to see the vacant storefronts in the university town this afternoon. Also, I have contacted a school for Zhuer as well. Once it is finalized, she can enroll. Thank you so much, Mr. Yang. The Luo family thanked him repeatedly. Yet in Sun Shulan's eyes, a trace of worry remained. She feared that at school, your blunt nature would make you a target for bullies. Meanwhile, you, Wu Qianming, and Wang Yi were preparing for class. Do we have Professor Jia King's class this afternoon? You asked, with a hint of anticipation. No. Why do you sound disappointed? Wang Yi looked confused. Professor Jia King is very smart. I want to meet her soon. You wanted to meet her soon. Then decide whether to reveal the Eidetic technology. Do not say I did not warn you. Professor Jia is the terror of our department. No one gets through her classes easily. The terror. What does that mean? Her class is first thing tomorrow morning. You will find out then. Wu Qianming shrugged, looking like he dared not say more. Wu Qianming took out several notebooks and handed them to you. You have not bought any yet. Use these school supplies for now. You rarely use notebooks, but not wanting to refuse his kindness, you chose a red one. You really like red. Yes, red represents vitality and energy. I like vibrant things. Then you must like red 100 yuan bills too. Wang Yi teased. Of course, you did not hide it. Wang Yi whispered to Wu Qianming. This kid likes money, but he is smart. He probably will not get scammed. But he is smart. He should not get scammed. Wu Qianming nodded seriously. He will only think everyone else is stupid. When you reached the classroom, you went straight to the front row and sat down. Wang Yi was stunned. Seriously, you still sit in the front row in college? Wu Qianming froze too. After hesitating and considering your situation, he gritted his teeth and sat beside you. Wang Yi grumbled, then followed, afraid of being left out. It was physics class. The moment Zhan entered, he asked, I hear a top student named Luo Yao has joined our department. Which one is he? You raised your hand, and the entire class immediately focused on you. Zhan smiled at you. I hear you are only 16, and you won first prize in the national math, physics, and chemistry competitions. Yes, professor. Gasps swept through the classroom. First prizes in all 3 subjects at 16? A true academic prodigy. Can you keep up with this semester's chip-related physics? Yes, I have already taught myself this material. Your words, the classroom buzzing. Many thought you arrogant. Wu Qianming discreetly tugged your sleeve, signaling you to stop. Intrigued, Zhan switched to problem solving to test your real ability and curb your arrogance. On the board, He wrote a calculation problem about a p-n junction solar cell chip, asking the class to calculate the short-circuit current. The problem was extremely difficult. The class fell silent, and Wang Yi groaned miserably. Zhan looked at you. When you showed no reaction, he felt slightly disappointed, thinking you were all reputation and no substance. Just as Zhan began explaining, you raised your hand, Professor. There is a mistake in the formula. The entire class was stunned. They stared at the board, but could not find any mistake. Zhan frowned and asked you to stand and explain. You clearly explained the core principles behind p-n junction short-circuit current, pointing out that differing doping concentrations change the contributions of electrons and holes. Then you went to the board and corrected the formula. As you explained, Zhan checked your work and quickly confirmed you were right. He had merely made a small mistake to ease the awkwardness. Zhan claimed he had been busy with papers and had not rested well lately. Then he introduced his research topic, solar photovoltaic. Cell module-powered microchip power circuit design, a key result for his promotion. After hearing him out, you had already formed an opinion of Zhan's professional ability. After class, Zhan hurried out of the room. Still shaken, Wang Yi said, correcting the professor like that was way too embarrassing for him. What if he makes things difficult for you? He will not. Professor is just mediocre. He will not be that petty. Wu Qianming hurriedly pulled them out of the classroom and whispered in class, do not say things like that. It will be trouble if someone reports us. 60% of students in our major fail. Participation marks are worth 30%. If he takes them all away, we are finished. Even if he takes all my participation marks, I can still pass. You did not care at all. Wu Qianming and Wang Yi shook their heads helplessly. That was the confidence of a top student. Where is the school library? You suddenly perked up. It is in the building next door. You are going to study? I am going to read Professor's paper. I want to assess his actual expertise. That is seriously bold. You have barely arrived, and you are already looking for flaws in a professor's work. The thought struck Wu Qianming and Wang Yi, and they immediately sensed trouble. If you offend Zhan, how will you survive at this school? Why go to the library? Let us get something to eat. The poached chicken here is fantastic. I will treat you. Wang Yi walked over and casually tried to put an arm around your shoulder. You shifted one step left to avoid him and shook your head. I am not hungry. I am going to the library. You to go ahead. With that, you walked away. What now? Even food cannot tempt him. He is dead set on taking Zhan on. Not everyone thinks about food all day like you do. He is a top student, unlike you. Why are you making this personal? A few days ago, you said being able to eat was a blessing. Now you are dumping me already. Wang Yi's words gave Wu Qianming goosebumps. Stop fooling around. We need to go with him. If he gets himself into trouble, neither of us can handle the fallout. Ugh. Why do I feel like a babysitter? Unable to argue with him, Wang Yi could only follow him toward the library. Do you not pride yourself on being street smart? How can you not see that the original dorm residents were suddenly moved out so we could look after him? Have you ever seen a 6-person dorm with only 3 people in it? Wu Qianming reminded him quietly. Wang Yi was instantly stunned. Damn. So, we are benefiting because of him. What else did you think? That blonde guy from the dorm messaged at noon that he had been assigned to another major's dorm. Usually, students from different departments only room together if they share the same major. Cross-major placements are rare. Now our dorm has empty beds, yet no one is allowed in. What else could it be? The school even spent 500,000 yuan to recruit him. You still not understand how important he is. How did this hot potato land in our hands? Wang Yi complained as he walked. Stop complaining. He is simple-hearted. Having a genius like him as a friend. There are only benefits, no downsides. Wang Yi understood at once, but he was still worried. What if he really finds problems in Zhan's work and completely offends him? Wu Qianming laughed. Zhan is still a university professor. How could his work be so easily picked apart? Besides, he is only reading the paper, not deliberately looking for trouble. Zhan himself told everyone to read it. Then what are we waiting for? Let us get to the library. Wang Yi instantly quickened his pace, while Wu Qianming complained helplessly behind him. I have never seen anyone so eager to latch onto a genius. Without a library card, you were stopped at the library entrance. When Wu Qianming and Wang Yi arrived, they immediately helped you get one. Walking into the library, you could not help whispering, "It is so big here." You were never particular about your surroundings, yet this library still impressed you. You think this is big. You have clearly never seen the library in the capital. Hey, why did you poke me? Wu Qianming cut Wang Yi off before he could finish. Think about where he comes from. Wu Qianming lowered his voice. Wang Yi immediately understood and fell silent. You came from a small town. A small town is lucky to have a reading room. It cannot compare to this place. Come on, Did you not want to find the paper in Semiconductor journal? Look it up on a computer. Wu Qianming led you to a library computer and let you operate it yourself. You had never used the library system, yet you deeply understood the underlying logic of all systems. Within moments, you found the location of the journal you needed. The three of you went to the academic journal's room on the second floor. You walked straight to row 11 in section F and took down a copy of Semiconductor. The moment you sat down, you immersed yourself completely in the text, oblivious to everything around you. You read on. Only a dozen or so people were scattered through the journal room. Wu Qianming and Wang Yi each grabbed a journal and started flipping through it too. You read extremely fast. The other had only finished a third, but you had already read the entire journal. Professor X's ability really is quite mediocre. You assess calmly. You cannot say that carelessly. Wang Yi went pale and hurriedly stopped you in a low voice. Why can I not say it? It is the truth. If a professor is not capable, are we not allowed to say so? There are other errors in this paper. I am going to speak to him in person. As you spoke, you started to stand. Wang Yi grabbed you to stop you, sweat beading on his forehead. You absolutely cannot go. You would be humiliating the professor to his face. Wu Qianming also tried to persuade you quietly. Maybe you saw it wrong. The paper's data came from repeated experiments. You have read for less than half an hour. How could you find a problem so easily? I have not done the relevant experiments, but his paper definitely contains errors. I have to speak with him. This is how I was at my old school. Whenever a teacher made a mistake, I would point it out. They never said anything against it. Wu Qianming leaned close and whispered, "This place is different from your old school. Many university professors publish papers to earn promotions and publication fees. When there are small mistakes, everyone looks the other way. Zhan will teach us for years. If you press the issue now, you will be the one who suffers. Why? Must academic work also be falsified?" Your face was full of confusion. To you, facts were facts. If even science had to compromise, then research would lose its meaning. Then I will handle it another way. Wu Qianming and Wang Yi exchanged a look, and both sighed in relief, thinking they had convinced you. If you want to point out issues, just email Professor directly. Speak with him privately, and he will surely take it seriously. Wu Qianming quickly suggested, a one-on-one email is safer than confronting him in person. You looked up and asked, will he correct it? Will he correct the errors in the published journal? Wang Yi shook his head and said softly, impossible. The journal has already been published, and he has already received his fee. Correcting it would mean contacting the publisher. It is too much trouble. You fell silent for a few seconds, then turned and headed toward the computer area. Wu Qianming and Wang Yi tensed and hurried after you. They saw you. Open your mail and begin writing a message. The two relaxed and stepped aside to talk quietly. Good thing we stopped him. Even if he emails Zhan and gets ignored, it is not a big deal. He is just earnest. Who would offend a professor like this? But what if Zhan holds a grudge and makes things difficult for him? There is no helping it. If we do not let him send it, he will feel even worse. He is young and has not experienced how the world works. Most likely, Zhan will read it, pretend he never did, and the matter will pass. You typed incredibly fast. Before they could lean over to read it, you had already sent the email. That fast? Wang Yi grumbled inwardly. Proving an error should take at least several thousand words. What you wrote so quickly could not possibly be persuasive. It would most likely be ignored. Are we going back to the dorm now? I want to study here. There are plenty of books, so it is convenient. You needed to study the Eidetic technology given by the system. If you revealed it without being able to explain the details, people would inevitably become suspicious. Then we will study too. You looked at them seriously. You are right. Those less gifted have to get an early start. You may not be especially smart, but with enough effort, you can surpass others. I am going to set you straight today. Wang Yi flailed in fury, but Wu Qianming held him back tightly. Their commotion drew a warning from the librarian, and the three of them finally sat quietly to read. Wang Yi wanted several times to return to the dorm and play games, but your remark about him not being smart stung his pride. He gritted his teeth and persisted. Wu Qianming had planned to go back to the dorm and loaf around, but your focus awakened his competitive spirit. So he studied alongside you. They studied for the entire afternoon. At 6:30 that evening, Wang Yi finally urged the two of you to eat. On the way, Professor Ian called and told you to wait for him outside Cafeteria 1. Wang Yi and Wu Qianming had planned to eat at a small restaurant in University Town, but they could only accompany you instead. As soon as you reached Cafeteria 1, Professor Ian came over. This is your campus card. You will use it for access and meals. On the first of every month, the school automatically adds 1,500 Awakens to it. You can use it in the cafeterias and at shops in University Town. Your scholarship and financial aid will arrive in about half a month. Once your enrollment records are transferred, the school is expediting the process. Taking the card, You immediately asked about your family. Everything is arranged. Your parents found a storefront they like and plan to open a restaurant. Your sister's school has been arranged too. Tomorrow, I will take her to enroll. Are you settling in at school? You nodded without saying more. After a few more reminders, Professor Eiang left. Do you have money on your card? Do you need to top it up? Wang Yi asked curiously. No. Professor Eiang said the school already added 1,500 yuan. Wang Yi had no response. Naturally, the school would not shortchange a genius it had paid dearly to recruit. Then you can treat us to dinner today. Wang Yi teased. Okay, you did not refuse. They had treated you before, so returning the favor was only right. Spending a little money to keep them quiet was a worthwhile trade. That evening, they took you out for skewers. The bill came to 117 yuan. That amount was nothing to them, but they knew that for you, it was no small sum. So they made excuses to buy you a pile of daily necessities and snacks. The three spent a peaceful night, until the next morning. The microelectronics group chat exploded early that morning. Have you seen Semiconductor's official corrections notice? The latest issue already published a correction. That was incredibly fast. Some expert must have identified the problem and supplied detailed proof. That is why the editors acted so quickly. Which paper was corrected? Professor X's microchip power circuit design based on photovoltaic cell modules. That circuit design had 5 errors corrected. The experts signed it as Yaowo. No one knows who that is. The entire major wondered who this mysterious expert was. The domestic semiconductor field was not that large. Everyone knew the prominent scholars, but this Yaowo could not be found anywhere online. Meanwhile, Zhan stood in his office with a thermos, talking grandly. He bragged about how many papers he had published that term, declaring he now met the requirements for associate professor. The other professors looked at him enviously, and Zhan felt smug. He planned to become an associate professor, then qualify to supervise graduate students. He even considered using you as a tool to publish more papers and become a full professor sooner. Then his phone suddenly rang. After taking the call, his smile froze. He forced himself to stay composed and exchanged a few perfunctory words, then used washing his cup as an excuse to head to the garden downstairs. Once he confirmed no one was around, he hurriedly made a call, his voice low but seething. Did you not say the data was fine? Now the journal editors have called. The first 5 papers have all been flagged for editorial review. What are you going to do? I paid you. You will fix this, or you will not get a single cent of the remaining payment. He hung up, glanced around anxiously, and hurried away. In room 606 of the men's dorm, Wu Qianming had just woken up. When he saw you fully dressed, sitting at the desk and reading, his head began to ache. What kind of schedule do you keep? Why do you always wake up before everyone else? We have no class. Why not sleep longer? Wu Qianming tried to get you to lounge around with him, but you did not even look up. Your eyes fixed on the book. Wang Yi was awakened too. He glanced at you groggily, then lay back down. Are we being too lazy? At least we did not play games last night. The two had wanted to play games, but your remark that it was a waste of time compared to studying killed their enthusiasm. In your eyes, spending time controlling game characters was far less valuable than studying. Have you eaten breakfast? Only then did you look up. Not yet. The snacks you bought will do. Snacks are for the afternoon. They cannot replace a proper meal. I will ask someone in the group chat to bring breakfast. Wu Qianming picked up his phone, only to be shocked by the 99 unread messages in the group chat. Wang Yi leaned over to read the chat. When he saw that Zhan's paper had been corrected, he shot bolt upright. Qianming, did you see this? Yes, I saw it all. Wu Qianming was no longer sleepy. The two exchanged a look, then both stared at you at the desk. Could this Yaowo be you? Wang Yi's voice trembled. Wu Qianming's heart sank. You had sent that email only last night, and by morning the journal had issued a correction. The handle Yaowo was clearly based on your name and pinyin. He walked up to you and asked gravely, that email you sent yesterday about the errors, did you send it to Professor? You looked up, puzzled. No. I sent it directly to Semiconductor's editor. What? Wu Qianming and Wang Yi cried out in unison. You said Professor probably would not correct it if I sent it to him. What if people cited those wrong conclusions in their papers? What then? Wu Qianming instantly regretted it. He had only wanted to persuade you not to press the issue, but instead gave you the idea that if Zhan would not correct it, you should find someone who could make him. Now you had completely and utterly offended Zhan. Why would you not listen? If Zhan finds out, he will definitely make trouble for you. Wu Qianming anxiously got out of bed and pulled Wang Yi aside to discuss a plan. What do we do? Either we pretend not to know who Yaowo is, but with his personality, he cannot lie. Or I ask my dad. He has connections with the school leadership and plans to donate to the school. He can definitely protect him. Wu Qianming valued talent and did not want you targeted by a professor. This was their only option. You looked utterly confused. Why would I be targeted for pointing out his mistakes? Wu Qianming gave a bitter smile. You have not experienced how the world works. School is a small society. Relationships affect your grades and future. Endure it when you can. I came here to learn, not to maintain relationships. If a professor's errors cannot even be mentioned, should we just let them remain? Just then, Wang Yi looked at his phone and went pale. The group chat said Zhan wanted you to come to his office. He found out that quickly? Wu Qianming panicked and moved to call his father. Do not call yet. We will go with him and see what happens. If things really go wrong, it will not be too late then. Wang Yi stopped him. The two accompanied you to the office, repeatedly warning you along the way. Once you get in, do not argue with him. You did not think it mattered, but their serious expressions made you nod. At the office, you went in alone. Zhan shut the door behind you. With no other choice, Wu Qianming and Wang Yi pressed themselves to the door to eavesdrop. Was that email to Semiconductor pointing out the errors in my paper sent by you? Zhan's voice carried suppressed fury. You answered calmly. I sent it. Professor, there are 5 errors in your paper. Would you like me to explain them in detail? Outside, the two exchanged stunned looks, nearly choking. He had come to confront you, and you were still thinking of explaining the errors to him. Who do you think you are, speaking to me like that? Zhan was furious and directly invoked his authority as a professor to pressure you. Professor, I am a student. Is that not obvious? You frowned inwardly, even finding him somewhat dull-witted. No wonder his paper contains so many errors. You no longer wanted to speak with him. Since you are a student and found a problem, why did you not come to me first? Why contact the journal editor directly? I am asking you. Would you correct it? Your voice remained perfectly calm. Outside, Wang Yi whispered, Zhan is going to lose his mind. Call your dad now. Wu Qianming had just pulled out his phone when a voice came from behind him. Is Professor Qing there? Professor Jia. Wu Qianming turned and saw that it was Jia Qing, the department chair. To college administrators, a man and a woman stood beside her. Wu Qianming and Wang Yi instantly stood straight, looking at Jia Qing obediently. Caught eavesdropping by the department chair, both of them panicked. They had no idea how to explain themselves. Professor Jia, do not misunderstand. We were only passing by and heard arguing inside. So, we paid a little more attention. Wang Yi forced himself to offer that awkward excuse. Jia Qing gave him an indifferent glance without responding, then looked toward the office. Is Professor inside? She asked sternly. Wu Qianming and Wang Yi hurriedly nodded. Wang Yi even stepped forward. Would you like me to knock? Jia Qing gave a faint sound of approval. With permission, Wang Yi immediately knocked. Footsteps soon sounded from inside. Zhan opened the door and frowned at once when he saw Wang Yi, just as he was about to scold him. He caught sight of Jia Qing and the others outside. His expression changed instantly. Director Wei, Vice Dean Han, Chair Jia, why are you here? Jia Qing looked directly at him, her tone calm but carrying unquestionable authority. We would like to discuss the issues with your papers. Is now convenient? Of course. Please come in. Zhan clearly had not expected the college leadership to arrive so suddenly. Flustered, he ushered the 3 into his office. Only then did he remember you were still standing nearby. He hurriedly waved you away. You go outside first. He did not want Jia Qing and the others to know about his argument with you, so he hurried to send you away. Jia Qing watched you leave without saying a word. Only after the office door closed did she turn a sharp gaze on Zhan. The atmosphere instantly grew tense. Outside the office, Wu Qianming sighed in relief when you emerged, then could not resist teasing Wang Yi. You were awfully eager to lead Professor Jia over just now. I was worried about you. You nearly scared me to death. Wang Yi rubbed his forehead, pretending to be shaken. Let us get out of here. We skipped breakfast and are starving. Let us find somewhere to eat. Wu Qianming suggested, but Wang Yi stared longingly at the office door and muttered, Are we not going to keep listening? Getting caught was embarrassing enough. To grown men eavesdropping. If you want to listen, stay here by yourself. Wu Qianming pulled you away. Seeing that he was alone, Wang Yi hurried after you. On the way, Wu Qianming pressed you about what Zhan had said in the office. A rare look of disdain crossed your face. He is very confused. He kept obsessing over why I emailed Semiconductor's editor directly instead of going to him first. It seems I was right not to send him the email. Even if I had shown it to him, he would not have understood the problem. Wu Qianming and Wang Yi fell silent. They understood that you only wanted to correct the paper's errors, while Zhan only wanted to cover them up. You were not on the same wavelength at all. Zhan probably never imagined he would encounter someone as relentlessly principled and impossible to sway as you. You do not understand. Zhan is only a lecturer, and he is trying to become an associate professor. Promotion is directly tied to publication. Because of your report, that paper definitely cannot count toward his evaluation. Wu Qianming explained. Associate professor? How is he qualified at his level? Your serious question left them laughing helplessly. You really did not pull punches. Wang Yi suddenly froze, his expression changing. Oh no, Zhan does not think I called Professor Jia and the others here, does he? Wu Qiaoming's heart sank too. Dejectedly, he said, we can only pray he fails to become an associate professor. Otherwise, life will be miserable for us from now on. Forget it. I am so hungry my head is spinning. If I do not eat, my blood sugar will crash. Wang Yi drooped his head weakly, and Wu Qiaoming was hungry too. He immediately suggested going to the second cafeteria for spicy dry pot. I am not going. You to go ahead. You declined, planning to research materials at the library. No. You skipped breakfast too. Eating irregularly harms your health. You have to eat something. Having been exposed to medical knowledge since childhood, Wu Qiaoming cared deeply about health. Wu Qiaoming insisted on pulling you along. You hesitated. Since childhood, you had only focused on completing the system's reading tasks and had never paid attention to such basic life skills. You were confused. Seeing this, Wu Qiaoming and Wang Yi realized that when it came to living independently, you were seriously lacking. Come on, I will take you to eat. People need food to function. How can you learn on an empty stomach? Wang Yi dragged you toward the cafeteria. You wanted to refuse, but the two of them nagged you until you were annoyed, so you simply went with them. After getting their food, the three of you sat down to eat. Wang Yi was starving. He quickly finished one bowl and got a second. By the time he was full, you had only just finished your meal at an unhurried pace. Afterward, you headed straight for the library, stopping at an electronics store in University Town to buy a hard drive before heading to the second-floor computer room. It was lunchtime, and the library was nearly empty. You had the computer room entirely to yourself. Once seated, you completely ignored Wu Qiaoming and Wang Yi when they arrived, immersing yourself in sorting through Eidetic technology. In your view, Eidetic was not ordinary software, but an industrial product wearing a software shell. It evolved alongside the chip supply chain, and the country lacked the complete industrial chain needed to support it. That was the core reason domestic Eidetic development lagged behind. EDA sits upstream in the chip supply chain, spanning design, fabrication, packaging, and testing. It must be constantly optimized with data from downstream manufacturers to build a technological barrier. After researching the state of the domestic chip industry, you formed a plan. A mature Eidetic suite could, in turn, drive the downstream market. It could open a path forward for the domestic chip industry. The Eidetic technology granted by the system was already second nature to you. You immediately began circuit design and module programming, immersing yourself in code. Meanwhile, Wu Qiaoming and Wang Yi were bored in the reading room. Wang Yi was checking the class group chat when his face changed. He hurriedly handed his phone to Wu Qiaoming. The group chat had exploded. Messages accused Zhan of buying papers and said the school was about to fire him after the paper you reported was flagged. Semiconductor flagged Zhan's earlier papers. The academic committee found several had been bought. When Qing questioned him, Zhan panicked and exposed himself. The students in the group were outraged and demanded Zhan be severely punished. Wu Qiaoming read the messages and looked at Wang Yi in shock. He had thought you were only correcting errors in a paper, never expecting you would expose Zhan so thoroughly that he would lose his job. Buying and selling papers is a major academic taboo. The school will certainly deal with it harshly. Now no one can target us. Wang Yi was thrilled. Both of them were deeply impressed by your decisive move. As the bell was about to ring, you saved the completed program to your hard drive and left the computer room. Wu Qiaoming rushed over, excitedly telling you Zhan had been fired. You merely raised an eyebrow, unmoved. He was fired just because his paper had errors. They were not mere errors. All his papers were bought. It was academic fraud, so the school naturally had to dismiss him. Wu Qiaoming explained. You gave a casual acknowledgement and lost interest. Anyone who would even falsify papers was unfit to be a teacher in the first place. You then asked, is this Professor Qing's class? Wu Qiaoming nodded, and an almost imperceptible smile crossed your face. I cannot wait to attend Professor Xia's class. Walking behind you, Wang Yi and Wu Qiaoming quietly speculated why you cared so much about Qing. Before they finished, Qing happened to approach along a side path. Wang Yi's words caught in his throat. He hurriedly changed the subject to flatter her, barely managing to cover himself. The two hurried to the classroom and found you already seated in the front row. With no choice, they sat beside you despite their reluctance. Integrated Circuit Eidetic technology, taught by Qing, was a microelectronics course, universally recognized as brutally difficult, combining knowledge from many disciplines. Qing's strict teaching had earned her the student's nickname, the Demon Queen. When the bell rang, King entered carrying a stack of test papers and got straight to the point. There will be an in-class quiz today. The moment she finished speaking, the whole class groaned. Everyone had been caught completely off guard by the sudden quiz. Wu Qiaoming and Wang Yi turned pale. They knew how difficult this class was and had no confidence in answering. Jia Qing looked at you and softened her tone. You only enrolled yesterday and have not studied this course. You may sit out this quiz. She had meant to give you an easy way out. The test was highly comprehensive. Someone with zero background would not know where to begin. But you looked up at her seriously. Professor, did you write these questions? Once she confirmed it, you nodded at once. Then I will take it. The entire class froze, casting sympathetic looks your way. They thought you were overestimating yourself and had no idea how difficult the course was. Jia Qing did not try to stop you again and handed out the papers. The classroom instantly filled with sharp intakes of breath. Everyone looked at the difficult questions with troubled expressions. Even the class representative could not begin. Jia Qing walked through the classroom, watching the students scratch their heads in confusion. She was deeply disappointed, feeling this year's students had a terribly weak foundation. Just as a headache began to build, you raised your hand. Professor, I have finished. May I hand in my paper? The classroom fell silent. Everyone looked at you in disbelief, certain you had simply guessed at random. Jia Qing quickly walked to your desk, picked up your paper, and examined it closely. Her eyes fell on the final FPGA technical problem. That question was beyond the syllabus and exceptionally difficult. She thought no one could answer it. Yet your paper was filled with answers. The code was rigorously logical, the steps were clear, and every answer was correct. The more Jia Qing read, the more astonished she became. Understand FPGA and IP course. I taught myself. Your tone was calm. I checked the entire paper twice. There should be no mistakes. Still doubtful, Jia Qing returned to the podium and graded your paper question by question. From multiple choice and true or false to the long answer questions, every answer was right. You had a perfect score. She spent half an hour checking every difficult question and confirming your answers were flawless. She was utterly stunned. When the class bell rang, Jia Qing collected every paper and graded them quickly. When she finished, she stood at the podium and announced that only one student had received a perfect score, Wo Yao. The classroom erupted, and everyone looked at you in shock and admiration. No one expected a student who had just enrolled to earn a perfect score on Jia Qing's brutal test. You were puzzled. The test was not difficult. Why was I the only one with full marks? Jia Qing looked at you seriously. No wonder you spotted the flaws in Kshan's paper. You were the one who emailed Semiconductor, weren't you? You nodded, admitting it, and also confirmed that Zhan had been dismissed. Jia Qing then warned the class to uphold academic integrity and never commit fraud. Only then did everyone realize you were the mysterious person who reported the academic fraud. Their gazes grew even more respectful. Jia Qing began explaining the difficult test questions, offering an improved solution based on your solution method, and explained advanced uses of Vivado IP cores. You listened intently and nodded repeatedly. The other students were completely lost and could not follow the two of you at all. They could only stare blankly at the board. After going over the test, Jia Qing assigned homework. Within 2 weeks, independently develop a simple IP core. If you truly cannot finish it, you may submit a design proposal instead. Before leaving, she wanted to add you on WeChat so she could answer your questions. But you frankly told her you did not have WeChat or QQ. You only used calls and text messages on an old-fashioned phone, and declined her suggestion to replace your phone. Helplessly, Jia Qing left you her phone number and a mail address, telling you to contact her anytime if you had questions. After Jia Qing left, Wu Qianming and Wang Yi surrounded you, praising you endlessly. They listed Jia Qing's academic achievements and marveled that you had won recognition from that genius professor. As they spoke, a quiet voice came from behind you. Someone patted your shoulder. Classmate, can you explain this question to me? Wang Yi looked back and saw it was Tang Dong, the class representative. His words sounded normal enough. He merely wanted someone to solve a difficult problem. But Tang Dong's expression was unpleasant, making Wang Yi feel as though he were ordering a child around. Wang Yi was about to claim you were busy, but you spoke first. That question is so simple. I will not explain it. You had other things to do, and did not want to waste time on meaningless things, so you refused outright. You little brat. What kind of attitude is that? Are you saying I am stupid? Tang Dong's anger flared. He stepped forward, reaching to grab your clothes. Tang Dong, if you are asking for help, ask properly. Why are you getting physical? Tang Dong was tall and burly, but Wang Yi was no smaller. Seeing this, Wang Yi immediately seized his wrist. We have something to do right now, Tang Dong. How about I explain this question when I get back? Wu Qianming spoke with a calm smile, as though he did not see the tension between them. Seeing Wu Qianming intervene, Tang Dong could not keep pushing. He glared at Wang Yi, then withdrew his hand. After Tang Dong left, Wu Qianming teasingly smiled at Wang Yi. Not bad, Wang Yi. I did not know you were so nimble. Have you never seen a nimble fat man? Wang Yi mocked himself casually, then turned to you. Still, you were pretty blunt just now. The moment the Wu family's third son stepped in, Tang Dong did not dare push things further. Wu Qianming laughed helplessly. Was that not because you nearly angered Tang Dong to death with just a few words? Angered Tang Dong to death? He is the stupid one, not me. You looked perfectly matter-of-fact. Wu Qianming then explained that Tang Dong was the class representative. He cared deeply about appearances and held grudges. Professor Jia had never praised him, but you arrived, exposed Zhan, and won the professor's approval. He could not accept it, so he wanted to take his frustration out on you because you were younger. After several seconds of silence, you gave your assessment. People say college students are innocent. It seems that is true. After a pause, you added, but you two are slightly better. Wu Qianming and Wang Yi looked at each other, utterly speechless. They knew your personality could not be changed, so they did not continue arguing. It is time to eat. The pasta and roasted chicken at the third cafeteria are both good. Wang Yi patted his stomach and suggested, I am not going. Wu Qianming frowned slightly. Why are you not going again? Skipping meals harms your health. I am going to see my parents. You looked at him strangely. Besides, I remember everything you say. I could not forget it even if I wanted to. A photographic memory? Wang Yi and Wu Qianming were stunned. Only then did they understand why your mind works so differently from ordinary people's. You were practically born with a cheat code. That is not fair. Why do you have it when I do not? Wang Yi was hungry and loudly indignant. Stop shouting. It will not help. Helplessly, Wu Qianming changed the subject. Are your parents in Dongsheng too? They run a shop in University Town. Your answer was brief. The two exchanged glances and spoke together. We will go with you. They were truly curious what kind of parents could raise a genius like you. You did not object and took them to your parents' newly opened shop. Yaoer, what are you doing here? Sun Shulan saw you from the kitchen and hurried out, wiping her hands. Mom, class is over. Are these your classmates? When Sun Shulan saw people beside you, her eyes crinkled with delight. This is the first time you have brought classmates home. Hello, Annie. We are his roommates and classmates. I am Wu Qianming. Wu Qianming added, this is Wang Yi. Hello, Annie. Do you need any help? Wang Yi was very polite as well. Sun Shulan was delighted by the two thoughtful boys. She explained that the shop had only been roughly set up, and it was set to open tomorrow, serving spicy dishes from their hometown. Wang Yi's stomach happened to growl. Sun Shulan immediately ushered you all to sit down, then returned to the kitchen to cook with Luo Xingwo for her guest. You were contemplating an IP core algorithm and automatically blocked out every sound around you. Wang Yi thought you were angry and whispered with Wu Qianming by the door. Only then did they learn that your family's ability to open a shop in University Town was entirely due to your excellence. Before long, your older sister Luo Zhu entered the shop and briefly greeted the two of them. Soon, the dishes were served. The spicy boiled pork smelled irresistible. And Wang Yi and Wu Qianming ate to their heart's content, seeing that Sun Shulan wanted to discuss family matters with you. They took the initiative to leave for the dorm. After they left, Sun Shulan took you aside to discuss something important. The 500,000 yuan reward the school gave you. Your father and I have not touched it. You are in college now, so this money is yours to manage. We have over 60,000 yuan from live streaming for household expenses. That is enough. She affectionately rubbed your head. You knew your whole family had come with you to Dongsheng and still did not own a home. Your parents had always lived frugally. You remembered that. Love in your heart. Luo Zhu asked whether you could tutor her every week, and you immediately agreed. Before you left, Sun Shulan pressed the bank card containing 500,000 yuan into your hand. After receiving the card, you had no plans to use it. Two ordinary people, 500,000 yuan could be invested in funds or stocks. You also knew chip industry stocks were about to rise. But you understood even more clearly that the core technology you possessed was worth far more than any of that. A retail investor can never compare to a market maker. You had to choose the most efficient way to make money. You still had more than 3,000 yuan of your own savings on hand. You planned to keep the 500,000 yuan for emergencies. At 7 that evening, you did not return to the dorm. Instead, you went straight to the library. Jia Qing's assignment was far too simple for you. It was like having the ability to build a skyscraper, yet being asked to make bricks. You did not give the assignment much thought. Instead, you continued writing your own code, but the library's computers simply could not support a complete development environment. To develop Beta, a computer without sufficient processing power could not handle complex, distributed simulations and play-sandru work. You immediately realized you needed a professional development facility. Dongsheng Institute of Technology was a research university. You quickly searched its facilities. The school had a supercomputing laboratory and training center. You immediately took out your phone and texted Jia Qing. Professor Jia, I would like to apply for access to the school's supercomputer system. Jia Qing initially thought it was spam, but when she saw the message, she was startled and intrigued. The assignment she had given did not require a supercomputer at all. Your sudden request made her unable to suppress her anticipation. Were you about to surprise her again? Jia Qing had long wanted to recruit you into her own research project, where you could begin with foundational research. It would greatly benefit your growth. After hesitating for several seconds, she sent you her supercomputer account and password, along with an invitation. You can use it free for 300 hours each month. That should be enough for you. Also, would you be interested in joining my research project? Its focus is general-purpose chips and foundational software. After reading the message, you already had your answer. Jia Qing's research direction was good, but it was ultimately a single-area study. It could not bring a fundamental transformation to the entire chip industry. What you intended to develop was a complete EDA suite, something that concerned the entire supply chain. The difference in significance was obvious. If you joined the project now, you would only be doing menial work. You could join, but I must never do work that does not matter. I will not join for now. Jia Qing found your reply both amusing and frustrating. Countless students were desperate to enter her project, yet she had personally invited you, only for you to refuse. She did not know the real reason you refused. You harbored a far grander ambition. By then, Jia Qing and Huaji had already reached a preliminary agreement on a partnership to develop EDA software. These days, domestic wafer lithography machines received enormous attention, yet too little was invested in EDA, this essential foundational tool. All mature EDA software was controlled by foreign companies. Huaji's partner foundries were often at the mercy of foreign EDA vendors over upgrade and licensing issues. Huaji operated downstream in the supply chain and could at any moment find itself at the mercy of others. For that very reason, independently developing a complete EDA suite had become an urgent priority. Jia Qing planned to recruit from the first-year microelectronics program 13 outstanding students for the new project. The selection criterion would be the recent IP core assignment. The moment the news spread, the program's more than 200 students erupted. Everyone wanted to seize this rare opportunity. Meanwhile, you had already begun formal development at the Supercomputing Center. Jia Qing's earlier guidance gave you a deeper understanding of the technology provided by the system. EDA's graphical interface, circuit modeling, layout design, simulation, verification, and other modules fit together in your mind like a perfectly ordered puzzle. At 9:30, Wu Qianming called to ask when you would return. Only then did you check the time and prepare to return to the dorm. The moment you returned, Wang Yi eagerly told you that Jia Qing was recruiting first-years for her project. He thought you would be very interested, but instead, you said calmly, "I know. Professor Jia told me." Wang Yi froze. The professor told you personally. We only found out from the group announcement. Wu Qianming was equally shocked and quickly asked when you would join the project. You calmly said, "I never said I was going." The two were completely dumbfounded. The professor personally invited you, and you still would not go. They could hardly believe it. Wang Yi reached over to feel your forehead, thinking you were delirious. You leaned back slightly, expressionless, and explained, "What I am doing now is more valuable than joining that project, so not going is the right choice." Wu Qianming feared you might say that carelessly and offend Professor Jia, so he explained with the simplest example. It is like your mother cooking a whole table of dishes, and someone saying they do not taste good. She would definitely be hurt. You considered it seriously, nodded, and agreed. I understand. I will not say that in front of Professor Jia. Wang Yi seized the chance to lean closer. I do not understand anything about IP cores. Can you explain them to me? You checked the time. It was 9:45, and the dormitory lights went out at 10:30, allowing 10 minutes to wash up. You had half an hour left. I only have half an hour. If you want to listen, start now. The two hurriedly brought over notebooks and a laptop, and you began explaining. An IP core is a pre-designed and verified functional block that can be integrated into different circuit systems. Wang Yi used potatoes as an example, saying they were versatile and go with anything. Though you found that absurd, you had to admit the analogy worked. Next, you explained IP core architecture. Design. Using a computer monitor as an example, you highlighted the importance of finite state machines and real-time data collection. As you spoke, you took the laptop and began typing code. At the sight of the screen full of code, Wu Qianming and Wang Yi immediately panicked and admitted their programming foundations were terrible. You did not mince words. A weak foundation is no different from not knowing how. Unable to save face, the two hurriedly said they would study hard. You did not have time to tutor them from the beginning, so you marked the key sections in their programming book, then went to wash up and rest. Ashamed yet determined, Wang Yi and Wu Qianming read all night by flashlight. They swore to master programming. When you woke the next day, the two were still asleep, slumped over their desks. You gently shook your head and went alone to the Supercomputing Center. In the days that followed, You maintained this routine. Each day, you made time to teach the two for half an hour. The rest of your time was spent either in class or at the supercomputing center developing Ida. The amount of programming required for Ida was immense. Fortunately, you had the system's technical support. You could continuously produce code. But even so, completing it in a short time was difficult. You spent 5 points in the system store to exchange for the one-time talent, automatic programming. As long as you clarified the framework, the talent could automatically generate the corresponding code within seconds. By the time the 3-day effect expired, you had completed 90% of the development work. After another grueling half-month, you finally completed the entire Ida software suite. After completing every test, you packaged all the code into an installer and saved it to a hard drive. Jia Qing would soon return to campus. How to safely get the hard drive to her became the question you had to consider. If you submitted the hard drive with your assignment, it could easily fall into someone else's hands. The only reliable way was to give it directly to Jia Qing herself. Jia Qing had a close partnership with Huaji. Whether the software ultimately went to Huaji or an authorized agent made no difference to you. You only needed to find the most reliable channel to let this achievement realize its true value. Jia Qing returned to campus at noon the next day. After lunch, you texted her. You said you had developed something and wanted her to review it first. Jia Qing assumed it was coursework and told you to submit it with your classmates in class. But you insisted this was important, that she needed to review it privately. Jia Qing understood a genius's stubbornness, so she agreed to let you come to her office. You left with the hard drive. Wang Yi and Wu Qianming were rushing to finish their assignments, so they did not ask much. When you arrived at Jia Qing's private office, you entered and handed her the red hard drive. The assignment is all in there. Jia Qing asked in confusion. Ordinary coursework does not need such a large hard drive. You nodded. Jia Qing connected the hard drive to her computer. When she opened it, she found an installation file named lvmx, which surprised her. Do you have a virtual system on your computer? You need to install it before you can open it. Jia Qing did as instructed. Once installation was complete, the screen displayed a simple L icon. The instant she clicked it, her expression changed dramatically. Design and compilation tools, simulation tools, power, analysis, physical verification, timing analysis, and package design. This was actually a complete Ida software suite. She whipped her gaze toward you. What exactly is going on? I developed this Ida software myself. This is the finished product. Your tone remained calm. All development work was completed at the supercomputing center. Surveillance footage can prove it. Even if anyone questioned the speed of development, you had ample reason to explain it. Jia Qing could not believe it at all. Impossible. Ida development is difficult for reasons beyond the coding. It also requires complete downstream data support. At present, China has only a few low-end Ida tools. How could you possibly create a complete suite? She even suspected you had merely given existing software a new interface, or built only an empty framework. Professor Jia, you have used mainstream foreign Ida software. Is it just a reskin? Is it only a framework? Test it, and you will know. Jia Qing said nothing further and pulled up from her documents a flawed circuit diagram for verification. The software immediately identified the error with precision, marking it in red. It pinpointed the error instantly with flawless logic. She then repeatedly tested the simulation functions. The system ran seamlessly and smoothly without the slightest lag. The results were accurate and complete. This was no empty shell or cheap reskin. A storm raged in Jia Qing's heart. She looked up at you and asked solemnly, "Are you certain you developed this independently?" "I am certain. I can provide every line of code." You did not show the slightest panic. Seeing your calm expression, Jia Qing could no longer contain herself. She picked up the phone immediately and dialed General Manager Meng at Huaji. "President Meng, this is Jia Qing from Labo 12. Is someone from the Ida department available right now? I have a groundbreaking